Very good morning to all Scratch readers today. It's Alex Fox here, live from my living room just outside Cambridge. I'm going to be talking to Hazel Dixon today, who I'd like to think doesn't need too much of an introduction. Hazel is a UK nail tech who has become distributor, educator, salon owner. She's a multi-award-winning tech who has travelled internationally and won numerous medals around the world. She has taken the Hall of Fame twice, the only person to be in the Hall of Fame twice for the Scratch Stars Awards, with Nail Stylist of the Year and Mixed Media Artist of the Year. I'm just waiting for Hazel to join us while I just catch you up on who she is. She has won numerous photographic competitions, and she created the Nail Olympia graphic for 2015. So there's not really anything in the industry Hazel Dixon hasn't done, and she is a guiding light for many, many people around the world. Her nail skills are exceptional, and her attention to detail is also exceptional and precise. The reason we're talking to Hazel today is because being a distributor, educator and salon owner, she actually has all three of her businesses in one premises in a place called Thetford in Norfolk. So this means that if we're using the July the 4th as a potential opening for salons across the UK, Hazel has been working very hard behind the scenes to make sure all of her businesses are going to be absolutely ready for the opening. This involves a huge risk assessment she's done, putting into implemented all sorts of protocols so that she can open successfully, safely, hygienically, and within the guidelines on July the 4th, if not sooner. So, Hazel, do you think you could request to join so that we can hear from you and find out exactly what you've been doing behind the scenes? I know that Hazel has created a 2-page A4 document that she has to give out to her clients. I know that she's created a new consultation form, a Sani station at the door to the left when you walk into her premises. I know that she's implemented 2 meters between desks, staggered appointments, a whole protocol on not just sanitizing your hands on arrival, but then walking to have your hands washed before you go to the nail station. I know that she's implemented nail brushes, that one-use nail brushes, meaning you use it and then you put it in a used box so that it can be sterilised for the next client. Obviously, I'm imagining Hazel will tell us that she's done quite a lot of them and they get sterilised at the end of the day, but we'll wait to hear from Hazel. Hazel, I know you're out there, darling. Do you think you could request to join me? Or maybe I need to click on you. Hang on a sec. My naughty phone is playing me up a little bit now. Okay, I haven't had a request from Hazel yet, so I am still waiting in the hope that she is going to press the button to join me. No, it is you, Hazel, that needs to press the button to join me, please. Risk assessments is something that I imagine everybody's doing now who has a salon. I know that Hazel has used directives from the HSC, Health and Safety Executive. She's been following closely the British Beauty Council and the protocols that were guidelines written by Marion Newman. I know she closely follows Doug Schoon's advice. So Hazel is implementing and going to all the right places to find out exactly how to get her business in tune with opening in the very near future. And also it's quite interesting because we now all have friends around the world who've been opening up their salons across Europe. So again, and Canada, I believe, has opened recently. So there's a lot of people that we can tap into around the world and find out how they have been utilising all the information out there to open safely. Hazel, I don't know how to get you on unless you request to be on with me. like it was my fault. And now I think I've requested. I'm waiting for Hazel Dixon now. So there we go. I'm not very good at these technological things. There she is. Sorry, Hazel. I'm such a donut. That I tell you, I'm still a little bit of a technophobe, but I'm learning from my living room.
I sent it 3 times and I was like, why can't she see me?
Oh, well, I didn't get one, but I have to say, well, don't you look lovely today?
Well, I thought I might as well make an effort because I've got to go to Sainsbury's shopping afterwards.
Oh my goodness.
My weekly trip.
I don't remember the last time I saw your hair up like it looks absolutely fantastic. Lock up hairstyle looking good. Lockdown hairstyle.
Yes, my lockdown hairstyle.
Right, Hazel, I've got you. So you imagine I've done the introduction. The only bit I didn't say was, for people that may not know, is that Hazel is the UK distributor for the Accents range, which is a Canadian nail brand, as well as her own brand, which is the Hazel Dixon product line, HD Professional. So, and also one of the Scratch Stars Awards that Hazel's won is the Team of the Year. And so Hazel also runs a large and expansive, extensive and very amazing education team across the UK also. So that's my intro to Hazel. Hazel, I think you should just jump straight in with, from the moment you realized you needed to implement things in across your business, what was your journey, please?
A lot of research. So obviously Marion Newman has been a massive, massive help and guiding light throughout all of this. So I've watched her very, very closely, along with Doug Skeen and the British Beauty Council, which I was a member of when they first launched a couple of years ago, which has been really, really massively helpful as well. Because not only have the British Beauty Council published the guidelines that potentially will be approved, which we think they will be, but they've also been publishing stuff for the hair side of the industry as well. So it's really good to get a good look and insight into what the different sectors within beauty as a whole are doing as well. So I actually printed out and every single bit of guidance that I could find, just to see if there was anything relevant, because obviously for me, I have, like you say, 3 different setups. So it wasn't just for salon, it was distribution as well as training and education as well. So I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and it was going to take some time trying to pull it all together and see what was best. So I did all of that and I read through it all, and after that I decided, well, that took forever, and lots of conversations actually with which I'm sure many of you will know, Jenny Nippard as well, because she runs quite a large sort of MVQ training centre down in Hertfordshire as well, which was nice to get her side of what's been happening for them as well. So basically what I did was started then writing down everything that I knew would be relevant. Everything that Marion did would be completely relevant. But obviously I have the distribution side. For us, we're still a very small company, so it's just me and Brett. So we have been able to really manage that throughout this whole crisis, in the fact that it's only him going in, and we put the protocols in place from day one, where, you know, he changes gloves for every parcel, he wipes all the products down before they get packed. So we're lucky in that sense, it's just him. So that's why we've been able to still carry on with that, and that's how that will stay for some time yet. So that there's no crossover or no contamination. I just lock him in the warehouse and leave him.
So effectively,
I don't really.
Effectively, it's the education side and the salon that you've closed, but your distribution was able to carry on.
Yes, it was. Which I'm happy about, because it meant that we had a little bit of income still coming in, because obviously for me, everything I do is all related to nails. So if nail tech stopped working, they don't want to buy products. But what was the saving grace for us was press-ons, you know, because a lot of people were doing press-ons. We'd actually only about 4 weeks before launched a new tip that was perfect for press-ons. I don't know if it's the big man up there. I don't know. But we was very lucky. They've been very popular. And I've done a lot of weekly tutorials, haven't I? You know, and challenges and stuff to keep people inspired and different things. So that's really, thank you to everybody. Has been really, really helpful. So yeah, I honestly just want to get back to work. I can't wait. So yeah, I read up all of this stuff, and what I set about first of all was sitting and writing down my protocols and procedures. So what I needed to do, what needs to be put in place, what we weren't already doing, what we didn't have, and really then trying to source that. So I then made a plan of like, where are we going to get this stuff from? I gave all of my PPE away to local care homes and, you know, all of that when we shut down. So I had nothing left. And then we can't get it. And then when we can get it, it's an extortionate price. And I didn't want to take away, obviously, what everything was needed for the NHS. So Kate Hill from Austria.
Yeah.
The Irish lady, she's lovely. One of the first things I noticed when she done her little interview with Marion was the masks that she had.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a Swarovski lover, obviously. So I actually had a meeting with the owner of the company and bombarded her with lots of questions on what they did, how they worked, you know, everything to do with that. And she's amazing. So yesterday, look what I got. I'm a little bit excited. I got a black one, a white one, and a denim one.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic.
So these are pending their proper certification. With everything going on, it's all been delayed, but she's very confident with all the lab reports that they'll be done. And they have like a silver lining, which is woven into the material, which I thought was quite interesting. So when I'd done all of my research, the silver lining is actually also woven into the fabric called, is it Vibors, that where I chose to get my dust extraction from. And it's like a natural defense against viruses and lots of other stuff as well. So it makes sense, and it seems to be, from the little research I've done, I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, that is really good. Like, it's great. Like the dust extraction has it in as well as the HEPA and the carbon filters for all of the vapors and the dust, and it's a really, really great protector.
So can I ask you, Hazel, because I knew we would get on to the dust extraction, because I've read the fantastic 2-page document that you've created for your clients so that they can see the protocols and measures that not only you expect from them, but that you also have put in to protect them and yourself. So can I ask you, before this happened, what dust extraction measures did you have before? Dust and vapor extraction did you have before? And what have you moved into and why?
So in our salon room, the girls that work in there all rent a chair. Unfortunately, a couple of them aren't coming back, which is very sad.
That is.
But we had extraction because we're quite closed in. And one of the important things that Marion and the British Beauty Council have said is about opening doors and windows. So I know you've been to my place before. We don't actually have that. It's very closed in. And I was like, oh, God, what am I going to do? And my dad had actually found me a couple of years ago a very small air purifying system that circulates the air with that. But it wasn't anywhere near as good as what we've had fitted a couple of days ago. And I had a desktop one that was more of a collector than an extraction.
Okay.
So in the training room, I have the NovaFlare system, which I absolutely love. But it is a little bit expensive. It's on, you know, £800 mark. So right now I'm trying to not penny pinch, but we've all got to save money where we can. And Ravair is something that I'd heard of before now, but not many people used it, so I wasn't really sure, if you know what I mean by that. Like, sometimes until you know of other people that've used it, or you really do your research, which I've got time to do now, again, me and Jenny were on the phone for hours, like, oh, have you seen this lab? And he was very, very forthcoming with all of his information. Any questions that we had, he answered. It's all been independently tested. And like I say, it's actually got something called fibers in it, which is a trademark name. And the fabric that he puts in along with the HEPA filters and the carbon filters is actually used on the clothing for the military, which I thought was quite interesting.
That's very
Which fights against biochemical, on all of that defense for when they're out. So I was like, this is really, and that has got the silver woven into it as well.
wow.
So that's what piqued my interest in the masks when Kate said about it, and I had this chat with this lady. So I'm happy with that.
Hazel, what are we looking at? Are we looking at individual units for this, or is it one unit that operates across the whole salon for your
So
extraction?
there's the dust extraction is a built-in unit that's on its own. So each desk will require a separate one.
Okay.
And they're around the £350 mark, which for me, I needed to buy several because I wanted my training room, although I had one on my desk with the Nova Flare already built in. I wanted to be able to provide desks that had it in for students who couldn't bring something with them when we go back to work. Just to open it up so that there's more possibilities of people being able to come back to training, because not everybody, if they have it built in their salon, they're not going to be able to pick that up and bring it with them for training to use.
Yeah.
So I invested quite a bit with regards to that, and I've had 2 of them fitted in the training rooms. And I've also purchased some more desktop style ones that are really good for moving around should you need to do feet. That will do the dust and the vapor extraction that way. But at the moment, I can only fit 4 instead of 12 in my training room.
Oh.
I've measured it out and the distance apart. So it's going to be massively reduced with regards to that. And that's across both them double training rooms. There's only going to be 4 people that we're going to be allowed in there.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So I think there's a question here is I think the question is for what's the name of the company that you sourced your extraction system from, Hazel?
Ravair.
Ravair.
Ravair. Ravair. And I also got the air purifying system from them as well.
Okay.
So that will also filter the air more, and that has the same fibers material in it to help with all sorts of different, like Doug said, the virus takes a ride on the magic carpet, which I love the way he described that. It makes it so much easier to understand. Yeah. So whilst we have the dust extraction direct there, we've also got that will be circulating with the air because we don't have a window in there. So that's why I chose to do that. And it was relatively inexpensive, I think, for the cost. It was £300. I thought it was a very, very reasonable price for what it was.
So I think probably what we should do is start from beginning to end, because we're getting a lot of questions about 2 meters apart and clients and nail tech. And I think if we start at the beginning, Hazel, let's talk about from the moment a client, because let's start with you're staggering your appointments, aren't you? Staggering appointments and asking everybody to stay in their car or stay outside and come alone, aren't you? Now, on arrival, what do you ask of them from the moment they walk through the door and it's time for their appointment?
Okay, so I actually asked them beforehand. So what I've actually done is I have sent out, and I'm happy if anyone wants to see this, I've made a little booklet that's got all the information in that has been sent out to my clients on everything that I've done and the new protocols. And the first thing they'll have to do is it's just 3 questions on a questionnaire before each appointment. They need to answer no to all of them, or they need to cancel their appointment. So I'm asking them to either email that over or bring it with them on the day. And as soon as they arrive, there will be a clipboard with almost like an attendance register. Mm-hmm. And on that is where they put the date and they sign to say that they're there. the reason why I've done that is almost like a track and trace, so that I know that anyone that's come in that building that day, if I get a phone call 2 or 3 days later from a customer saying, I've, got symptoms, or even one of us techs might end up with symptoms, I know everybody that's been in the building each of them days, and I can get in contact with them and say, look, we've got symptoms. And I thought that that was a good way of being able to make sure that I minimised any risks. So they're having to say no. If they've got any symptoms, they don't come. And by signing in and coming in to have their appointment, and it'll be the same for the education as well.
See, whichever way we look at this, Hazel, whichever way we look at this, there is absolutely an element of honesty. We are are we not? We're depending on our clients to absolutely give us to be so honest that they're willing to give up their nail appointment. And that's really, because I can't see anything more. I mean, your risk assessment and your protocols that I've seen are so succinct and cover absolutely everything that we're hoping that this is an honesty policy, isn't it? An honor system. So carrying on, they've filled in their form and they've told you, and I noticed that you've got pens there that are sanitized. They use a pen and then it goes in the used pen pot.
Yeah, because I was just like, I said to Brett, I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, we can't have everyone use the same pen. No. And then he's looking at me like, don't you think you're going a bit over the top, Hazel? I'm like, no. You know, everyone that knows me very well knows I try and think of every little thing. Yeah. And what I do might not necessarily work for everybody. I've got quite a large building that I need to make sure is clean and safe when everyone comes in. So I felt it was important. So yeah, we've literally got a whole row of pens, and they're actually spaced apart in a little on a plastic box. And then we've got a box next to it that says use pens, and it's clear in the guidance that I send out to clients. Please make sure that you use a pen, and when you've used it, you put it in the box. And when they first walk into the lobby, it is the first place that they'll be. I've got a leather chair in the corner for the older clients if they need to sit down. I need to sit down a lot of the time as well, to be fair now, because I'm getting on a bit. And there's spare masks, there's gloves, there's disinfectant wipes, there's sanitizer, there's everything you can imagine on what I've now created as my Sanny stations, so that at that point they can use anything they need to before they even go anywhere in the building. And then next to that is the kitchen, where they can then go and wash their hands, because I still think, although they use a sanitizer, which is great, I want them then to go and give their hands a good wash. And that's where I've then put in place clean nail brushes and used nail brushes. And there's a big sign that's been laminated saying, please use a clean nail brush to wash your hands, and put the used nail brushes in. And we've also got the touchless soap dispensers as well. So you can literally just put your hand underneath and it squirts the soap out. You give them a wash, scrub, and it's less contact that they have to have as possible, and make it as easy as I can for them and for us, obviously. And then they're allowed in.
I noticed also that you let them know before their appointment that you will not be offering any beverages whatsoever, but you're happy for them to come with their own takeaway. Yes. Which I'm guessing you want them to bring and take away.
Yeah.
And so from that, there was a lovely little thing I don't want to miss in case we don't bring it up. And I want to say that I love the fact that you call it something else, but I've always called them colour pops, where you can see the colour of how you choose your nail polish. Yeah. Yes. Is it correct that you've taken those and you've framed them and put them on the wall so that they can choose their colours that way?
Do you know what? Both of my children that are not of working age are still in bed. Can you believe that?
So are mine.
Like, what? I'll run and grab it if we get time. But yeah, it's rose gold frame.
So a lovely idea that you've put, when they come in, they can look straight away at a frame on the wall and choose their colour. So that's a new thing that you've implemented, that maybe if it looks so groovy, you'll keep it, because it's maybe quite a nice feature for a salon wall anyway.
Well, they always struggle with colour anyway. And I'm thinking, while they're sat down, getting themselves ready, it's right opposite them and they can look at colours. I know it's not perfect because they like to put them on their nail and see on the ring. But for me, I'm just not going to have enough time between every client to sanitize, wash and disinfect them.
No, I thought that was brilliant. You're the first person I've heard come across actually, you know, finitely looking at so many details. You thought, crikey, we need to do colours, let's put them on the wall. It's brilliant. Because we're used to having the pops that are on a chain and what have you, and you put them on the nail.
Yep.
So now they've got through to the salon, Hazel. Have you gone for the Perspex screen or have you not?
No, I haven't.
Have you gone for the face shield? Because some people are actually doing the full face shield. Have you gone for that?
No.
So you've gone for face masks for you and for client, is that right?
Yes.
What's your reasoning behind that then?
Doug.
Good reason. Yeah.
So I read a lot of the stuff that Doug's been putting out. And I'm not against anyone wanting to do that if that's what they choose they want to do, because everyone's got their own risks and own reasonings for doing things. I just think it's one more thing for me to clean. So I've literally stripped back my whole salon. We have literally only now lamps on the desk. There is nothing else there. So well, obviously apart from my dust extraction, obviously. So yeah, I've said no to the screens because I do. If you've seen me work, I'm like this. Like there's no way that my client's hand coming under there is going to be any good. It's not going to be comfortable for them, and it's not going to be comfortable for me. And the virus travels round. It's not going to stop at that screen either side. It's still in the air and it's still around, and I just don't believe that it's actually going to help any at all. I know that some people think that it's more of a security thing for them and their clients, which is totally understandable. And if they have the time between every client to thoroughly sanitize and disinfect that screen, I don't want to spend my time doing that. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy, but I just don't see the point in it.
That's a fair assessment, because it does bring quite a lot of work to the table.
And the face visors, I had considered it.
Yeah.
But again, from the same as Doug said, it's no different to that screen. So it's just something else that I'm going to have to clean after every customer. And in fairness, from what he makes a valid point that you can still put your finger behind it and rub your eyes and touch your face. I wear glasses as well. And to be honest, that with a mask, I don't know if I'm going to be able to breathe. We need to be able to work comfortably as well.
Yeah, definitely. I did something we did forget there, Hazel. You have installed shoe coverings, haven't you?
I have, should anyone want it. And the reason why I done that was because we have got such a large area.
So basically, is your client, you're asking them to bring a mask, but if they haven't got one, you're going to sell them a mask. Is that right? On arrival?
Yeah.
So your client will be wearing shoe coverings and a mask. Your nail tech will be wearing plastic apron, mask and gloves. Is that correct?
Yes. So I got the plastic aprons are actually really reasonable, and I have to say I might even post a picture because I think you'll find it quite funny. My middle one, Kieran, he was up helping us paint and organize everything the other day, and I made him put one on, the gloves, and he put the shoe covering over his head. Oh, he was a picture. So I am actually thinking, because my clients know my humour, of printing that and saying this is what you need to do.
Welcome to my salon. Yeah. So someone's just asking, are you insisting that they wear a mask? You yes. are actually insisting they wear a mask, and if they don't bring their own, they need to buy one from you before they sit down. And you're insisting that they wear shoe coverings because you don't want them stomping whatever they may have brought about around the salon. It's just a nice extra measure, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, people don't have to if they don't want to. I mean, for me, because there's not just me, there's other people going to be in. Although we're staggering appointment times, the other nail tech that'll be working with me will have people coming in as well. So unless we go behind and wipe and disinfect the floor every time they come through, there is that possibility there. So that's why I decide on that, because there's more of us. And I would say if there's just one of you and it's just one-on-one, then it's probably not necessary, because it's only used to both there. But where we also have the shop and we have training, we've got a lot of people coming in and out on a daily basis. Maybe not so many anymore, but that'll be cut down a lot.
There's an interesting question here that somebody's asking, saying that they have clients that are, the word here is petrified of wearing a mask. I know that there's issues with wearing a mask if you have asthma, because it does become very claustrophobic and very difficult to breathe under there. At the moment, the guidelines are saying that we do need to wear a mask, and we do need our clients, aren't they, Hazel? It's not that you're being extra vigilant there. It is actually a guideline coming from the British Beauty Council.
And it's because we can't keep 2 meters apart.
Right.
We can't do it with
But
our jobs.
Would you say that if they're my advice, what would your advice be? Is that if a client says, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to wear a mask, is you have to say, I'm sorry, I can't service you, I imagine.
Until such a time, where social distancing is no more, and then I would be able to. I mean, I suffer with asthma myself, and I do sometimes find it difficult. But you can also get masks that have the valves that can help you with your breathing more, and they might be a little bit more comfortable. So maybe a suggestion on a couple of different types of masks and get them to try it.
Yes, because you get the ones with the respirator here, and there's ones with them here. So there's many different options out there, aren't there, for people with problems, but or difficulties. But I think in these early days, if you have a client that's not prepared to adhere to your protocols, then it's a simple, I'm afraid I can't service you at these times, because we need to get through our opening, don't we? We need to get through the opening, get through it safely, and so that we can move into a time when social distancing is a thing of the past.
I've just seen a question from Sue's 14 saying allowing clients to bring drinks and wearing a mask seems a contradiction. So I have thought about that, and I know that the advice is no drinks at all, but the reality is there are going to be some people that need a drink if they're there for 2 hours. You know, if they want to go and have a drink, take their mask down and have a swig of water. I mean, I think it's unreasonable to say they can't bring any drinks with them whatsoever, you know, as long as they've got their own.
Yeah, and also look at the heat wave we're experiencing right now. If this heat wave continues,
you'll have people passing out.
Exactly. I mean, this is the thing, we've spent years concerning ourselves with XYZ, and now XYZ is not, it no longer matters, and we're in a whole different set of protocols. But we do need to remind ourselves that once upon a time it really mattered that we kept ourselves hydrated, because that comes with a whole load of issues. So I agree. I mean, if people out there are uncomfortable, then tell people to come, I guess, with a bottle of water with a lid on the top. That's
how do I know that clients' masks are clean and safe? I suppose I'm in a very good position in the fact that a lot of the clients that I do 1, maybe 2 days a week max, because I do a lot of training and distribution side. I trust them. I really do. I absolutely have built that trust with them. And if you're that concerned, then most definitely I would add on the cost and make them wear your own mask if you're genuinely are really concerned. Everyone's business is different, everyone's clientele is different, so you know, if you're not sure, but then clients only need the surgical type masks, don't they, which are the basic 3-ply layered masks or a face covering. So there's no perfect answer, I don't think. I think that everyone's situation is slightly different, and all you can do is follow the guidelines and come to your own assessments. I mean, I have to say I trust my clients. I really do.
I think one of the reasons I was very keen to interview you, Hazel, is because what we do know from the last couple of weeks with the guidelines coming out is that one size doesn't fit all. Guidelines are there to be interpreted they're to be followed, but interpreted within context of your own environment, using, as Marion coins the phrase, using common sense. So I wanted to interview you because I know that you take everything you dissect everything, you fine tooth comb, you think of every angle, you think of every outcome, and therefore, and you also do it from the client and from the text perspective. So I know that anybody following your protocols will be in a very, very very strong space, and I did feel very much that techs could look to you to see how to bring it into their own environment. And I think the idea of you're doing all the things that make sense. You're keeping your clients outside in their cars, asking them to sanitize their hands, fill in a form to say that they absolutely don't have any symptoms right now, so you can track and trace. Giving them somewhere to sit, which when you said a leather chair, I imagine because it's washable.
Yeah.
You're doing shoe coverings. You're saying, if you don't bring a mask, I'll sell you a mask. Making them wash their hands extensively before they sit down. I don't see you can do any more than that. And also obviously putting in the dust extraction and what have you, buying the nail brushes, so there's one nail brush per person. So I was wondering, on that level, has it been a massive investment for you financially to turn yourself into a post-lockdown safe salon?
Not particularly, because a lot of the stuff we were already doing anyway. It was more, I had desktop dust collectors in the actual salon because I only worked in there one day a week. But it would become apparent from what Doug said that was not good enough anymore, you know. So after looking at his advice and the way he says everything moves around and all the rest of it, then you know, that's why I put it in there. So that has been financially an investment, and I wouldn't normally have dust extraction in the training rooms for students to use, but I was very well aware that there's a lot of beginner students that will come and things are going to change. And when we teach them, we're going to have, you know, we will teach them that it is a necessity to have these things. However, they might not have them during their 6-month training, you know, when they come to us. So I felt it was important that I set an example and that they have the dust extraction available during their training. And also I wanted them to be able to see the different types available as well, so that they can then make their own choices as well. So we have the dust collectors, which I'm not a fan of particularly. They're good, but they're not great. Going up to the desktop ones, and then the built-in dust extraction, and then obviously we have the salon air purifier. So now I have all of that. When I'm teaching, I can show them all, this is what this does, this is what this one does, and then they can make their own choices based on their working environment and whether they're one-to-one or salon based, or, you know, all of that. There's loads of questions.
Yeah,
Keep seeing them popping
I think
up.
some of these questions are coming from people that weren't on earlier. So to answer that one, Hazel has invested in the RAV Air system, RAVAIR, RAV Air system, to open up post-COVID. Is that correct, Hazel?
Yeah, that had it had the same specification as a lot of the other the other brands that are around, but was the most reasonable. So that's why I went for that. I love Nova Flare as well. They're a German company, and their dust extraction and vapor extraction is very, very good, but it's twice the price. So that's why I chose to go for the other one, because it had the same specification, but it was more reasonable. That was my reasoning for that.
So are you going to be opening up your salon with further days? Were you a 5-day or 6-day a week salon anyway, Hazel?
5.
You were 5. Are you remaining 5?
Well, probably going to start with 3 when we open.
Oh, okay, and are you going to do longer days?
I actually haven't asked them, because they rent a chair, so ultimately they can do their own hours. I've sent them all over my protocols that they will have to follow as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna actually have to go from 1 day to 2 days, because I used to pack all the clients that I did do into one day, so I'm gonna have to spread them out. So yeah, it's, you know, I'm leaving at least 15 minutes between each customer now, at least.
How
And
many
I'm
do you
gonna,
think you can service a day with that, with those protocols?
you're losing at least a client a day, if not two.
Okay.
Which financially, this is where it's going to be difficult for some people, because you still have the same running cost. Your electric's not going to go down, your rent's not going down in price,
No.
the cost of your products aren't going down. So you have to somehow make that viable. And the only way for me was I have had to increase my prices, which my clients do already know. And they are, I've been, again, maybe lucky. They're all happy with that, and they totally understand, and they were expecting it. So
I must admit, I mean, on a different level, when I spoke to my hairdresser recently, who sent the email around to all her client base saying, I'm going to be hoping to run the salon again from July. How important is your hair? Da, 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 blah blah. And then said, I actually said to her, are you thinking of raising your prices? Because I want you to know, if you do, I have no issue with it at all. I'm happy to pay more because I value you. And I value you even more now since I've missed my early May appointment. And so I can't imagine that any client in the world that values their tech or hairdresser would have an issue with price increase, unless, of course, it's massive. Was it
And I
massive?
don't think it needs to be. Someone's
No.
just asked by how much, but I
Mm.
think, again, that's such a variable, because it's based on where you source your gloves, who you source them, how much they cost. You need to add them costs on based on where you get your stuff from. I mean, on average, I think mine's going to work out about £4 per customer,
Well,
roughly.
so that's very reasonable indeed, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
reasonable indeed. Okay, well, Hazel, we need to wrap up very shortly. So, is there anything we haven't covered that you would like to share as people are getting themselves ready? Anything that I've not
We've
asked
done the
you?
dust.
Posters around the salon that you've done to make sure that they're very aware.
Do you know what I should do? Is I should probably go around and do a little video so everyone can see. But yeah, just a few things. The WHO actually has very good links where you can download posters, which I found really helpful. And that is on how to hand wash and how to actually use hand sanitizer. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous because everybody should know, but there are some people that probably genuinely have never thought about it like we need to think about it now.
Yeah.
So I printed them all off and laminated them, and they're at all different points where there's a sanitation and also where there's washing facilities.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has pointed up about people using the bathroom. I'm not going to stop my clients from going to the toilet if they need to.
No, that would be impossible.
I mean, come on.
That
I mean,
would.
I know we all need to be safe and we're all doing the best that we can and we all
Yeah.
need to make sure. But I mean, come on. And all that's going to be is I will go in there afterwards and I will wipe down all the sides and I will clean it. It's not that big of a deal for me. I'm quite happy to do that, you know. So we've only got the one toilet on our premises, so it's quite easy to know whether someone's been in there. And I will just clean it afterwards. And the same procedures are on the wall in there with regards to the nail brushes, the sanitizer, the touchless system. We've got paper towel dispensers, no more towels. That's another thing I forgot to say. Paper towels that you can throw away. So yeah, there's a lot of things in place and everything's minimal. So it's very easy to clean down and very quick. That's what I would
Especially
say, is minimize as much as you can.
like you said, just to recap, you've got a dust extractor and a nail lamp on the actual table, and I guess the tools that you're about to use, and that's it. No more pretty table.
Me and Keely's my daughter, for anyone else that doesn't know, but me and Kiwi actually spent 4 days going through the salon, and we have literally put every single item in a plastic tub, everything. So every acrylic colour, foils, glitters, it's all got its own place. It's all got its own tub. It's all in drawers. So it's only that we pick up and take and use that will need to be wiped down. Nothing else needs to be, because it's all stored away.
Just to answer that question there, Hazel is referring to using the toilet in her salon. I don't think Hazel's referring to a home salon. I think that
No.
would be a completely, that's a case of using the guidelines to fit your own environment. Here we're talking about a salon toilet that would be very easy to clean down as soon as somebody.
There's been a few questions about home and mobile, and I haven't done that for a very long time, and I do know that Marion Newman is she's really pushing hard to try and get some additional guidance on things like that for you guys. So that will come very, very soon. I'm sure it will. It's not my area of expertise as such, but I suppose if I was working from home, I probably wouldn't be very, I don't know. I don't know if I would. I think I'd be very, very in two minds, to be honest.
It would be two minds, because then you're looking at the facilities that are used by a family potentially, as well as clients. That's where there is a definite grey area there. So
one other thing before we go, yeah. One thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have work shoes and work clothes at work and get changed at work, is what I've decided to do as well. I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, excellent. Well, on that note, I know there was a question very early on about the Swarovski mask that you were wearing that Kate Hill introduced us all to, because it's a friend of hers that's making them. Is it correct that you bought yours via the actual company? You've not become a distributor for UK, have you? Just want to check. At the moment, you can buy them directly.
Yes, at the moment you can buy them from Armageddon. I have trouble saying it. .com, I think it is
too, which is why I didn't say it. I was hoping you would say it. And there's a story, if you go back through the website on Scratch Magazine. There's a story that we did with Kate Hill a week and a half ago, and the actual web address to buy those masks is on there. And there's a Scratch discount at the moment of
but there might
10%.
be a UK distributor soon.
Right. Well, let's hope when there is a UK distributor, that UK distributor lets us know.
There was someone that's asked me about 5 times about gloves, bless her. So I'm going to answer her quickly. Why I think it's important. I do think it's important we wear gloves. And although I get your point that we will have washed our hands, for me, I'm going in my drawers and I'm picking different bits and pieces up and I'm wearing gloves. I think it's important to wear gloves nowadays as well because of allergies and using products. I think it's a combination of different things. From my point of view, for me, is the reason why I'm going to be wearing them. So yeah, that's for me. All
right, well, brilliant. Well, look, Hazel, thank you very, very much for taking time out of your schedule to come and tell us all about the protocols that you've put in place. And maybe you did say that some of those protocols you're happy to share with people. And I know some people have said in the comments that they're quite interested in seeing what you've done. So basically, Hazel's easy to get hold of. Just message her on Facebook. And I'm sure she'll share with you. She's a very sharing person on important aspects like this. So just Facebook message Hazel. And
you don't often see my face, do you? I'm not very good at going live.
No, well, today you are. So thank you very much for joining us, Hazel.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Thank you. Have a good week. Rest of week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.